This is the brand new NordicTrack S22i, and in the past I've reviewed the older version as well as compared it to the Peloton Bike Plus. I made videos why I love the old S22i and reasons why I hated the old S22i. But in this video, I'm going to show you all around the brand new and improved version of the NordicTrack S22i Studio Cycle. Now obviously Peloton is the big name in indoor cycling, but there is a lot of good reasons why you should consider purchasing a NordicTrack instead of a Peloton. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all those reasons, and then we'll also cover some of the reasons why you might want to avoid a NordicTrack S22i. So for starters, if you don't know anything about the NordicTrack series of indoor exercise bikes, one of the things that make these bikes so unique is they have the ability to incline and decline. And NordicTrack is the only manufacturer that has this feature available. So the incline can go down -10% and up 20%. So what that translates to is this bike is really good at simulating an actual environment of like riding up and down hills, which is a lot more practical. You know, when you're out in the wild riding a bike, you're gonna be going up and down hills, and that's what makes it more of a challenging workout. So a couple years ago when I bought the original NordicTrack, I thought it was kind of a corny feature and it'd be kind of stupid, but honestly, I think it actually makes a really big difference. It changes the way your muscles engage while you're riding the bike, and it also adds variety to your workout. So let's start with some of the basics. So first of all, maybe one of the first things you'll notice about the new NordicTrack S22i is the resistance knob, which is not actually a resistance knob, it is actually just a push to stop button, is now red instead of orange. Typically exercise bikes like the Peloton and other popular indoor stationary bikes have a resistance knob down here, and it can be difficult to reach down and adjust the resistance, particularly while you're riding out of the saddle. And NordicTrack has taken a unique approach to solving this problem by not using a resistance knob at all. Instead of the resistance knob, NordicTrack has other ways to adjust the resistance. The most obvious way to change the resistance on a NordicTrack is on the end of the handlebars. On the right side of the handlebars, you can adjust the resistance, and on the left side, you can adjust the incline and decline. There's also a few other ways you can adjust the resistance, including on the screen, as well as automatic adjusting resistance and the smart adjust feature, which I'll tell you more about those in just a few. So one of the nice things about the NordicTrack bikes is you really get super easy access to your controls. Another new feature on this model of the NordicTrack S22i is the forward-facing speakers that are 30 watts. The forward-facing speakers on the S22i, the newer model, really makes a big difference. The 30-watt speakers are a big improvement over the older model, and since they're forward-facing, they just sound better. And another thing that you might not notice right away is the fan on the new model of the S22i is a little bit smaller than what we saw in the previous version. It does have the audio controls right here as well as the fan controls here, and we'll get to that in just a moment. The 22-inch rotating touchscreen has been improved in quite a few ways, including it has a faster processor, it's more responsive. It does rotate 360 degrees around, but it only rotates like a little bit past 180 degrees this way actually. And another thing we'll notice is on the back of it, in the previous model, it really did not look like that good, but they have like really cleaned that up. So the whole thing will just kind of rotate around and a little bit past 180 degrees that way as well. Of course, it rotates up and down as well. So it rotates up quite far, and it also rotates down a little bit. I think the 22-inch display is really all you need. The 27-inch monitor, if you have a big space and you have space for it, go for it. For me, 22 is fine. On the previous version of the S22i, one of my complaints was it only had toe cage style pedals and no clip-ins. They have fixed that in the new model. There is now a dual-sided pedal with SPD clip-ins on one side of the pedal, as well as a cage style on the other side. This means you don't need any sort of special shoes to ride this bike still. You can use the cages, or you can use SPD clip-ins to clip in and get a more efficient workout. The beauty of the S22i is you don't have to wear clip-in shoes. You can just kind of hop on this thing with any sort of shoes. However, you have the option to clip in with SPDs if you'd like to. And of course, this is a digital magnetic resistance bike. It has a flywheel that is 32 pounds. And the drivetrain on the NordicTrack S22i is amongst the best of any of the indoor bikes I've reviewed, including the Peloton Bike Plus. Overall, I've been super impressed with the NordicTrack bikes, the way they feel to ride. You know, I'd put them on par with the Peloton Bike Plus. They They just have like a super smooth drivetrain feel, and the flywheel is like super smooth. One advantage that the NordicTrack actually has over the Peloton Bike Plus is obviously that incline and decline feature, and then also you get like the same automatic adjusting resistance. Taking a closer look at the drivetrain here, we can see this is the actual physical brake. If you need to stop the bike for any reason, this is your emergency brake to stop the flywheel. And of course, this bike is belt driven as well. The flywheel on this bike feels great. Pretty much identical to what I remember from the original Studio Cycle, which felt great. So in terms of the actual drivetrain, this bike is extremely silent and extremely smooth. But of course the bike is not completely silent. There is some noise with the motor when it raises and lowers the incline angle, which I'll show you in just a moment. There's actually a couple different ways to adjust the resistance. There's these buttons right here on the ergonomic handlebars. On the right side there is the resistance adjustment, and on the left side there is the incline and decline adjustment. However, there are more ways to adjust that resistance, and I'll show you that up here in just a moment. But while we're here looking at the handlebar area, the grips on these handlebars are really nice and thick. They feel great in your hands. The handlebar assembly does have a slight angle down here, and there's an additional grip right here. And here's what they look like from the side. Overall, these are very nice handlebars. You're gonna be happy with holding onto these while you're riding the bike. You get a nice variety of hand positions, so it's nice to be able to kind of put your hands on here or switch it up to here. Out here in position 2, as well as 3 for out of the saddle. And you have easy access to the incline and decline button here. And as you can see, there's a little tray here that you can use as storage, and then you get your weight tray right here as well. And I'll show you the actual classes and stuff here in just a moment, but before we do that, let me just show you how the controls work on a free ride session. And this will work the exact same no matter what kind of workout you pull up, but you can also adjust your resistance here on the screen by dragging this, and it will very quickly change your resistance. Now the motor that adjusts the resistance is almost entirely silent. You're probably not even going to be able to hear this make a noise. As you can see here, the touchscreen is like super responsive. So one of the ways you can adjust the incline is right here on the screen. And as you can hear, it does make a little bit of noise, but it's a lot quieter than it used to be on the older model. Of course, you can also adjust that incline right here on the handlebars, which is super convenient while you're riding. And while you can manually adjust your resistance and incline on the NordicTrack S22i, it's actually not necessary to do this at all with the auto adjust feature built into the S22i. So basically what the Smart Adjust feature does is allow you to select a new resistance level, and then what it'll do is going forward in the ride, it will automatically adjust the auto adjust according to the direction you moved the resistance. So you'll still get the automatic adjusting resistance in the class, but depending on whether you move that resistance up or down, it will make the ride more difficult or easier. And as you would expect from a bike of this caliber, it does show you your stats, like your cadence, obviously, and also your watts, so your power output, your resistance number, the incline percentage, and all that stuff. But let me show you the studio rides. If you're new to iFit, you might not know that NordicTrack and iFit, they're known for their outdoor rides. They have like really good outdoor rides compared to most other competitors. So let's go ahead and pull up one of the outdoor rides right now. And pulling this ride up, it shows you exactly what you can expect. So this one will be 7 miles, about 28 minutes. Elevation gain will be about 313 feet, estimated calorie burn of 231, and an estimated effort score of 296. So pressing play here to start the workout. The Wi-Fi on this bike has been improved much over the last bike, so we have not experienced any sort of connection issues on this. And in the beginning of every workout, you'll get a little warm-up time to get everything loosened up and ready to rock and roll. And now it shows you basically like the route you're gonna be doing. So here is like a Hawaii workout. Here's an example of what you get with an iFit instructor-led outdoor class here on the screen. We can see basically like it's us on a bicycle following behind the instructor, and he's giving us cues on what to do. And as we're training following this ride, the incline and decline will adjust with the slope here on the road. And then at the top of the screen, it gives you your current cadence or your RPMs and what your target cadence should be. So we should be at 75. I'm only at like 42 right now because I'm just kind of demoing. Also, you get your power output over here, which is super useful metric. If I just pick up my pace a little bit, we can see that the wattage output will increase. There's the turn on training button here, and that will enable the incline feature to work. You can kind of independently turn off and on the incline if you want the incline feature to be on. So yeah, this is like a Hawaii ride, and this is a pretty steep incline here, 10% incline. You can see the instructor is out of the saddle here, and we're giving it a pretty good effort, or he is anyway. And the camera will kind of just like pan between like these scenic, beautiful like B-roll video basically, and then kind of go back into following the instructor like that. This was the, however you pronounce that, Mauna Kea endurance ride in Hawaii. And I did not complete the whole ride here, but we can see, you know, it's like a 3/4 of a mile, and it shows like your average power, average cadence, the elevation gain, how many calories you burned. So the fan is actually a really cool feature on the NordicTrack S22i because this like really helps you cool down and stay cool during a ride. I don't know if you have any experience riding indoor bikes, but just sitting stationary on these things and not getting breeze while, you know, like when you're riding a real bicycle, the air can get pretty stagnant. So on a lot of indoor exercise bikes, if you don't bring your own fan, that's going to be a problem for you. So it's really nice that this is built in to the S22i. So to talk about the drivetrain feel and resistance and stuff, right now I'm on incline 0, so everything is flat, resistance 1. I'll go ahead and just crank it up to max resistance, and I can feel it coming on, and it's pretty much all the way from minimum to maximum in that amount of time. So on maximum resistance with everything flat, like this is a pretty strong maximum resistance, but the same way as in, yeah, in the saddle, like this is a really strong resistance for 24 on incline 0. But to get the true maximum resistance of this bike, you have to put the incline up. So I'll bump it all the way to 20. So this is gonna be resistance 24 and 20% incline. And that's where the true maximum resistance of this bike comes on. And it is a very strong maximum resistance. You might as well be on a leg press machine at this point. This is super difficult. Bump it on down to, back to incline of 1% and a medium resistance of 11. This feels like riding a bicycle. Like this is a nice resistance. You can get a good workout in riding like this. Another thing that I really like about this bike is you can make it actually more comfortable, effectively raising the handlebars by increasing the incline. So you kind of tinker with raising the incline and reducing resistance to get like a more comfortable seating position on this bike. And if you want to make it super easy and get a lot more weight up on your arms, you can always bump it on down to -10 incline, and this will like really simulate like you're kind of going down a hill. So I'm like really having to like support myself here with my arms, and then I can crank up the resistance a little bit and then get more of that weight into my legs. The S22i does have dual water bottle holders up front here. The grips to raise and lower the seat, they're definitely effective. You just kind of rotate them and lock them in place. This is a 3-way adjustable bike, meaning the saddle can go up and down, as well as forwards and backwards with this adjustment. And the handlebars can raise and lower. One feature the NordicTrack S22i lacks is does not have the ability to move the handlebars forwards and backwards, which is actually kind of a rare feature that we don't really see on these premium high-end bikes. And that's probably due to these larger displays up front. Of course, the S22i does have Bluetooth connectivity, so you can hook up a heart rate monitor. All you gotta do is tap on the Bluetooth accessories and you can add speakers or a heart rate monitor. You can see my Rhythm Plus is connected. If I want, I could tap that disconnect button, but I'm gonna keep it on here. And now the heart rate is displayed right up here in the top right corner. So you have access to your heart rate while you're riding your bike. To touch on the weight and the size of the NordicTrack S22i, this is like a 205-pound exercise bike. So it's kind of on the larger side of bikes for sure. So it's a little bit difficult to kind of like build it and get it into place compared to like a smaller bike. But once you get into place, you know, I think it's worth it and it's a great bike. One benefit of that larger and heavier product size is this bike has a maximum user weight of 350 pounds, which is definitely more than most of the other exercise bikes out there. I don't think I've actually seen any exercise bikes that accommodate a weight of more than the NordicTrack S22i. Another great thing about the NordicTrack S22i is the saddle height of this bike has a wide range. So this bike is a great fit for people who are taller. I can say personally because I am 6'5". The maximum saddle height is like 34, which is like crazy high. I'm 6'5", and this would be way, way too tall for me personally. Also, the seat does drop way down, so I can go like this low. So the bike can accommodate shorter riders as well. One of the biggest complaints with indoor exercise bikes is actually the saddle. I actually find the saddle on this bike to be relatively good for me personally. Some people don't like these narrow and firm saddles, but the good news is you can easily replace this with any saddle you would like. On the bottom side here, we can see it's just literally a standard saddle with like the normal bolts and stuff. So you could swap this out for whatever you want. Overall, I've been super impressed with the NordicTrack bikes, the way they feel to ride. You know, I'd put them on par with the Peloton Bike Plus. They just have like a super smooth drivetrain feel, and the flywheel is like super smooth. One advantage that the NordicTrack actually has over the Peloton Bike Plus is obviously that incline and decline feature, and then also you get like the same automatic adjusting resistance. And obviously price is another big one. The Peloton bikes are pretty darn expensive, and that monthly membership fee is like where they really get you. So with the iFit, it's a little bit less expensive than the Peloton. But really, where iFit shines over Peloton would be the outdoor instructor-led classes. I mean, iFit's just killing it there. So if riding outdoor is your thing and you really like outdoor rides, NordicTrack and iFit is really the way to go, in my opinion. If this NordicTrack S22i review has been helpful for you and you've decided you want to buy an S22i, I do have a link below this video in the description box, and if you did buy through that link, it would help support Tail Happy TV and my indoor cycling reviews. So of course I would greatly appreciate your support if you did buy through the link, but I do have many other indoor cycling bike reviews if this is not what you're looking for or out of your budget or whatever else. Browse my channel, I have a lot more indoor cycling bike reviews. So thanks for watching guys, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you in my next video.